Hey everybody, welcome to Grace and Fire. So today I'm going to be doing some winter seed sowing, and I don't have a whole lot of seeds that I can sow today, but I thought I'd show you just the general how to do it. So if you've never winter seed sowed before, I highly recommend that you do it. There are no grow lights. You don't have to do this indoors. In fact, you want to do this outside, and you want to do this during the winter time. You can do this with perennial seeds, and you can do this with cold crops during the early cold winter months. This is great, especially if you live in the northern part of the United States or in a northern climate right now. And then you can do this again in a few months for your warm crops. So things such as peppers and your tomatoes, those type things. You can do this again. It literally is you do everything today, and then it's a hands-off approach, other than you might want to check on your water levels if you're in a drier climate. What you need is a milk jug or a water container, and for that I have just a plain water container. If you get a milk jug, you want to make sure it's opaque in color so that the sun can hit through it. If you get one that's completely white, it won't work. You can also use things such as deli containers as well. You're just going to have to make sure you poke extra holes at the top so that the rain or the snow can actually get in there. To get started, you literally just take a knife, and you want to leave the cap on. This is a pro tip at the beginning. Flip it upside down, poke a couple of holes in the bottom. In this particular one, I have, it looks like 3 holes at the bottom for this size. If you do a milk jug, I would recommend 4. And then you're going to want to cut your milk jug in half and leave it to where it's... Okay, you guys, so as I'm editing this video, I realized that my camera cut off as I was explaining how to cut the milk jug. So basically, you want to cut the milk jug most of the way around, but you don't want to cut it completely apart. So if you have a handle on your milk jug, you want to make sure that your starting point is near your handle and your stop point is on the other side of your handle. So that way it's still connected. But if you don't have a handle, just like leave maybe about an inch or 2, so that way the top and the bottom stay connected. It'll make it so much easier when you have to put the duct tape on and have to reseal the container. And also it makes it easier so that way whenever you're moving your container around outside or whatnot, it's all connected as one piece. But if you cut it off completely, it's not the end of the day. It just might be a little bit harder to put that duct tape on. So anyhow, back to the video. Thanks. Once you have your container cut in half, all you have to do is add potting soil or seed starting mix. Personally, I like to use the potting soil because it holds on to moisture a little bit longer. And to be quite frank with you, I'm bad about checking on moisture levels whenever I do my winter seed sowing. So I am going to go back with my trusty faithful potting soil mix. And with this, you just want to take your potting soil and you want to add water to it, enough to where it's holding on to the water. But as I'm squeezing it, you can see that there's no water coming out of it, but there's plenty of water in there. So from here, all I have to do is just add in my soil mix. In years past, I have done things like kale, cabbage. I've done things like poppies that have with the winter seed sowing method, and have had great success. Right now, I'm going to give it a try and see what happens with snapdragons and artichokes. I've already done my artichokes, and so now I'm going to try the snapdragon method. So they're perennials or biennials, maybe. I'm not sure which they are. But anyhow, I thought, well, why not give it a shot and see what happens, right? So this is what I have. And it's from Baker Creek. So all I have to do is take my seeds. Ooh, they're tiny. I probably have too many. It says to start the seeds indoors, so I'll do some indoors as well. 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost. Requires light to germinate, so bottom water or mist lightly, and avoid covering the seeds. Okay, easy enough. So I don't know if you can see the seeds, but they're tiny. In my garden, my vegetable garden, I like to grow things that are beautiful too. I like to grow zinnias and sunflowers. I've grown dahlias as well. So snapdragons is something that I would like to give a try. Now, honestly, you're not gonna be able to see the seeds, but they're down in there. So the next step, literally, good old duct tape. All I'm going to do is duct tape my container shut, just so that way the wind doesn't get into it. I don't lose any seeds. It keeps the moisture in as well. It helps keep the heat in. So you really want to use duct tape. Now I have a confession. The first time I did this about 4 years ago, I used painter's tape. Don't use painter's tape. Bad suggestion. Go to the dollar store and get you some duct tape. I was being too cheap that year. It fell off. I don't know what I was thinking. It was a fail. All right. Now, every gardener needs a good garden marker. I've been using Sharpies, but about 2 years ago, I discovered the Artline garden marker. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that. This thing is the best marker I have ever used. It withstands the sunlight and it will not wear off. So I highly recommend that, especially with winter seed sowing. You will not be disappointed. So all I'm going to do is write snapdragons on here. Okay. And then I'm going to put today's date, which is the 15th. So I know when I did this. And oh, the other thing, you do not need the cap. Let me take that cap off. And the reason you don't want the cap is because you want the rain to get down in here. And if you have snow, you want the snow to get down in here, air to circulate. So leave those caps off. And then see, I've also started, let's see here, artichoke. So I forgot to put the date on here. Let me just do that real quick. All right, I've got my dates on here. All I have to do now is take these outside, set them out in the direct sun, and just wait for them to germinate and to grow. Then I will take the duct tape off and let them acclimate to the weather, and then put them into the ground as I see fit when it's time to put them into the ground. I'll be continuing on to do more winter seed sowing as I get more of these containers. I'm going to be doing some cabbage and some kale, since those are some of my favorite cold crops. And then in a couple of months, I'm going to be doing some tomatoes and bell peppers as well. So if you've ever done winter seed sowing, please let me know. Drop it down in the link below. And tell me what you've done. And if you've never done this before and you plan on giving it a try, let me know as well what's worked for you and what hasn't. Let's help each other out in this community. Well, anyhow, I hope you have a wonderful day. Live your life with a ton of fire and be sure to give yourself some grace. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.